everybody. We're going to get started again. We're almost at the end. At our 7th inning stretch to keep with our baseball. So we have a couple of innings left, but we're getting to the end of the game. And we're right at the point now where you're going to have a chance to practice with the logic model a little bit. So let's review so far, and let's talk about what we're going to cover in this section before the closing. So we're on Module 7, which is on page 95 in your workbook. And I'm going to pick on the people in the back at the back table. If you don't mind reading the learning objectives at the bottom of page 95.
Participants will learn how to construct using the ROMA logic model.
Participants will identify short, intermediate, and long-term outcomes on logic models and others.
Participants will understand how analysis of data in a logic model can lead to improved program management decision making.
Participants will understand how logic model can assist in the cognitive process. Participants compare the features of the e-logic model to the traditional logic model.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, so let's look at what we've done so far with our logic models that we've been building. So I'm going to take the results off for right now. Put them over here. But so we've gone through from this morning. We started with looking at a mission and the components of a mission, and we talked about the fact that everything else is resting on top of the mission. We looked at needs assessment and community and what the needs are. We jumped over and started to identify outcomes. We identified our outcome of around affordable housing. Then after we did that, we came back and looked at the services that needed to be provided, the activities to be able to reach that outcome. We went down and talked about the outcome indicators, where we did the 20 out of however many, or 40 out of 200, so that we would be able to measure it, and we identified a time frame for that. Skipped over, and then we talked about the last 5, the measurement tool that we would use, what the data source would be, and then F for the frequency. And we talked a little bit about using our proxy outcome as well when we needed to do. So if you look at it again, the first 5 columns, including the results, are program operations. And then the last 3 are looking at reporting and evaluation on this end. So we're going to have a chance to, or you're going to have a chance to design your own logic model in a minute. But one of the things that I just wanted us all to be reminded of is that all along as we were delivering this, we talked about things matching. We talked about if we came up with a goal that was a family goal, then the outcome needed to be a family outcome. And the same with all of them, that everything had to match all the way through. So if you look at your table, I dropped off a stack of these that say examining logic model development. So if you all will look at that, and if you need extra, let me know. Okay, so what I want you to do with this is to look over it. We're going to see if, does the information on this logic model match? So spend a minute or two looking at all the columns, the need, the service, the outcome indicator, the measurement tool, all the way across. And if you find something that you think doesn't match, just put a star by it or mark it. And then we'll see, we'll share as a group. So take a minute or two to see if you think any of them don't match across the board. Either what you're measuring doesn't match the need, or what you're providing doesn't match it. And you can look at that for 1, 2, and 3. you're trying to decide if the service listed, will that produce the outcome that it's saying it will? Will the indicator be able to be measured by the particular data source that's identified? And if there's anything missing, have they listed for like the data collection in column 7, who's going to be doing it? Okay, while you're looking, I want to see, has anybody found anything yet that you think isn't a match?
The outcome under 3, under the second sample, families increase their ability to increase their household income. The need was for individuals unable to secure employment due to childcare, so it wasn't to increase their income.
Absolutely.
Get them.
That's right. So but basically what this outcome is saying is that if a family has reliable childcare, then their income is going to increase. And there's a lot of other factors that would do. So just providing that is not going to lead to that. Very good. Yes?
So, looking at number 3, I think that the outcome, so the service or activities, 15 homes are weatherized within the grant cycle, and then the outcome is families have more income because their utility bills are reduced. That seems to be more of a proxy.
Yes, absolutely. That if we're measuring, because again, we made a real effort here to make our indicator of what we were measuring and our outcome very similar so that we would be able to, and that it would be very linked to the service that was provided. No, thank you, very good. Other ones that you notice?
On the first example, the data source, it doesn't say who's going to be responsible for it.
That's right. Who's going to measure it? Who's going to collect the data? Very good. What else? Any other ones that you see? Yes?
In the third one, for the measurement tool, it asks for completed applications, but it doesn't go further than that to say what weatherization was actually conducted.
That's right. Was there an audit afterwards that happened? What actually did the person do? Just completing an application doesn't mean that the house now meets commonly accepted standards for weatherization. Any other ones? Any last minute ones that? Some of them are just missing, so if you look at the first one in the outcome indicator, it has the 5 of 20 or 25%, but it doesn't have a time frame on it. The first one, the outcome, families increase their access to financial lending institutions. It's kind of like the one at the bottom, kind of like the application one. That the person purchase their home would be the outcome that we would be hoping to see with the service that we will provide it. So it's just something important to think about as you're doing your logic model, to keep checking to see, is everything matching up? All right, so now we're going to start with the logic model, starting to build it. So if you look in the middle of your table, there is a large ledger size logic model that is completely blank. There are some that are already filled in, but we're looking at the blank one right now. And you're going to work in your table to do it, and we're not going to spend a ton of time, but really want you to have a feel for what we did as a group here to be able to begin to design a model for yourself. So if you turn to page 98, there are the instructions for part 1 of building the logic model. So the instructions are, begin building your model by considering a program that you know. Identify the program name and the program mission statement, and you want to enter those onto the logic model template. So it's going to force you to agree on one area that you want to, one program that you want to work at. So maybe you sat at a table with people that are from the same program, but if you haven't, just choose one that you have some information, or that at least somebody at the table has some good information about that. And then once you do that, and you enter the vision statement and the program name on it, then you want to start at the left side of the logic model and start to identify the needs. You want to jump over, like we did, to the outcomes. You want to go back to strategies. You want to look at the, I'm sorry, you want to do outcomes,
First, we have to pick a program.
and then strategies? No, okay, you're right. So outcomes, strategies, outcome indicators, and then our data collection tools here. But for right now, I want you to start with these first 4 columns. Take your program and then just start writing on there, writing on your big logic model. Does that make sense? And we're going to be walking around. If you have any questions, just raise your hand and we'll come over to you. And for the mission, not your agency mission, but the mission for the program, try to narrow it down, at least for this purpose. Under the mission for the program.
Yeah, which is kind of biology.
Secure jobs for our clients. Skills training, training on interview. Those are some of the strategies.
That sounds good.
Skills, training and operating elsewhere. No, that's right. So, under the needs center, we would consider to become that's what we want. So if our need is that, and our outcome would be,
Your need is this, and your outcome is hopefully provided.
I would say, what's the outcome?
Because I also think that's
Now you want to start working on it. I wanted to mention it may be easier if you try to use a family outcome versus a community. You can use whatever, but that may be a little bit easier if you do a family versus an organization, an agency, or a community. So whatever you're doing is fine.
Yeah, so this is here. Just want to change that.
So we're going to provide jobs.
Skills
And even though there may be a lot of needs, you may just want to do one need to help improve.
Chocolate right here. So we would say, that's your budget.
That's called job readiness.
So it's those 7 different locations.
out front space.
Should I be?
Probably not. The less you know, the better off you are.
Ignorance is bliss, right?
Before school starts, after school gets out.
You can stop just before. Nope, keep looking.
Well, I think the data source is moving. So it's it's like the protocol. Because if you collect it every 6 months, exactly.
Because that's what we have to figure out.
But that's still, you're still meeting the objective, you're still providing care and opportunity.
Linkage
Your
is,
objective was to make sure.
linkage
Right.
with other agencies.
Then, I can see it.
Skill training.
Without having to there are multiple.
And that's why you gotta pick the three.
Or as you could say, you could say here, measure successes here that 250 or 300 responses from each. And if we're
Everybody, keep working on it, but if you listen for one quick second, some of the groups are already moving on. They've already done the part one, so I want to give them some instructions so they can move on to part two as well. But just that, for those of you that are still working on part one, at the bottom of page 98, I just want to review a couple of things. I said about using a family outcome if possible, that may be easier. But we're not going to use any proxy outcomes for this activity. So in your logic model, you're going to put an X or a check on that there aren't any. And then here, you're going to identify also which kind of outcome it is, or what kind of level it is. But then if you're moving to part two, then you're going to start to complete 6, 7, and 8. So the measurement tool that you'll need to do, that's the place where you're collecting the raw data. This is on page 99. And then the procedure for collecting it, the data source and the person doing it, the people, the personnel doing it. And then the 8 is the frequency of collection and the reporting. So for those of you that have finished the first part, you can move on to the second part. And we'll take about 5, 8 more minutes to work on it to see how far we can get.
Make it pretty.
Those are sometimes, and the envelope. He's supposed to sort of suggest in this. Not put a flat number. Projecting what we think.
Another helpful thing, if you're having a hard time coming up with your program outcomes, that the NPIs, the list of things, may be helpful in helping you identify what an outcome might be that you're interested in. You should also have it on your that may be a good resource.
Where are we putting this?
Are you on this?
I am so
Oh, since you are on
Yeah, she's got red hair. And I'm like, I love red hair. That's great. That's my kind of purpose. She's even like, I came in here and I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you a redhead? I don't understand. Yeah, exactly. Forget it then.
Those are
Yeah, redheads are definitely a suspect class.
But are we supposed to have numbers somewhere? Prior to?
I was gonna say, this is rare.
to make E, right? Yeah, it's D, E, and F.
So glad we
Those are in here. Right here. D, so before and after school. Before and after school programs.
So the actual objective we need was that family
If anybody is stuck at the table, raise
They
your
already
hand.
said transportation.
Come by.
and then we said that
No.
yeah,
In skills training, we can say, get a Right, we said local schools.
Oh, yeah, see, we need numbers.
I think it's 50.
50 for skills training and then for I don't know if they should both. I think some people jump down to do. But I thought that, yeah. So what do we want to put?
Yeah, exactly. I was that type of but they and everyone else.
That's what I think maybe.
Okay, it looks like several of the groups are finished, so I'm going to give you one more set of instructions. If you will turn to page 102 in the manual, there's a logic model checklist. We talked about things matching as being one of the things that you're going to check, but there's a whole list of them here. So as other groups are finishing up, use this checklist to review what you've come up with already and see if you can check, that you have really looked at the quality of the model that will then lead for you to be able to use it for program planning and evaluation purposes. So just kind of go through them and see if you have things specific enough, if it's complete. So page 102 has the checklist.
Missions not
Foundation. That's a problem.
That's right.
They got another 15.
Take another minute or so to finish up. Then we'll move
What the hell are Statement clear. Yes. I think it's clear. I would say yes, it's clear. Does the service activity?
1 and
And conference was
Chris, how much? Chris,
Yeah, I know. Great. I lived in 2012.
The outcomes, columns 3 and 4, are these measurable? I didn't see that. The job is
full days.
They have to too. Like, what is that?
Don't worry.
or 30 of 15.
Training for your start.
That'll work. I used to burn buses.
Did you feel like
No, we actually had a
One of those people that gets mad at the paparazzi.
Oh, no, I had.
That's not true. I saw the potential we had.
She's like, I don't know. He was just like,
No, I got more information.
Okay, everybody, even if you're not done, we're gonna stop for now. And we have one great group up front that has agreed to share their logic model, since it's such a big group. We'll get a sense of what they came up with, and we can talk about any feedback, any thoughts we have. So if you guys, and the microphone here is on. So you can be here. Thank you very much. It's a wrap.
This is a real microphone right here. Real. Ain't no pen.
You gotta say it again.
All right, so our logic model, first of all, we have our mission, which we pretty much took from our financial education tagline, and we created a mission. We turned it into a mission, and it's helping families achieve financial goals by providing education, coaching, and referrals to community partners. So that's our mission. And our need is that clients come to us with need to increase their credit score. Our strategy, we just listed a couple, but we would probably do a little bit more. One-on-one financial counseling, financial literacy academy, and workshops. Our outcome is that we hope that 100 people would come to one-on-one financial coaching, and of that 100, 70% of those people will increase their credit score by the end of the year by 20 points. Our outcome indicator is that, we flipped these. This is not my fault. I did not write this. So that was our outcome. I should, because you razzed me enough a little bit today. So that was our outcome indicator. The whole 70% of 100 people will increase their credit score in a year by 20 points. And then our outcome is that families will increase their credit score and reap all of the benefits of that. The results with that, they would have the ability to rent, they would have improved job prospects, they would have lower rates when it comes to borrowing, access to credit, things like that. Our measurement tool is a credit report. So coming and running your credit report. Our data source is our financial literacy coordinators that will meet with the client and run the credit report and go over it with them in detail. And the frequency would be done, we're saying every 6 months, but probably more than likely 3 times a year. So at the onset of the meeting, we run a credit report. At 6 months in of meeting on a month-to-month basis, we run the credit report, and then again at the end of the year, we run the credit report. So that's our, yes.
Do you negatively affect somebody's credit by running credit reports?
So the way that we run the credit report, we do not negatively affect it, but generally it can. So if you are at the mall and you fill out 3 credit card applications, you're going to have a negative effect on your credit report. If you come to us, and we're gonna sit down with you and go through annualcreditreport.com, and we're gonna run day 1 TransUnion, 6 months later Equifax, at the 12 months Experian, we are not negatively affecting your credit. We also contract with TransUnion, and in financial literacy, we run what's called a soft report. So there's the difference. When you're filling out a credit card application, you're going for a car, you're going for a house, they're running a hard credit report, so that is affecting your score.
Thank you very much.
It's so hot in here.
I'm having a hot flash on top of it being
All that work.
You're not.
Thank you, guys. Any thoughts? Any thoughts that you have about their logic model? Did everything match across the? Yeah, absolutely. Good catch on flipping I was curious to see what your outcome indicator was going to be once you said this is the outcome. I thought, oh, this is interesting. But so flipping that. So I don't know if, having heard this group's, if anybody has any questions about theirs or any specific questions. So tell me, in general, what was it like to do it? Was it difficult? What kinds of things did you struggle with? Was it easy?
No, but we're not program people, so we had not a clue.
So depending on your role in the agency, it might be harder to come up with specific activities or outcomes that you think really are meaningful and make sense. Other people shaking their heads. Other things that you found in doing it. Yes.
I think we have so many goals or outcomes for a specific service that I found myself like do like 10 models sometimes.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And as we move forward, we're going to address exactly that. So we're going to look at some more sample logic models just so that you have a sense of what some more will look like, but also how do you use the logic model to assess the client outcomes and the program effectiveness. So also on your table,